Hi YouTube, Brian James, that Micro Four Thirds guy with you once again, and a bit of a catch up actually. It's about 5 or 6 days since I last did a video. It seems like forever. I haven't been sitting on my backside doing nothing though. I'm resting on my laurels. I've been out doing all sorts, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a catch up as to what's been going on in the week and where I'm looking at. So, what have I been doing? Well, first of all, you might say I've got a bit of a weepy eye here. I'm got a touch of the old hay fever. So I've been sneezing and snivelling and have the runny eye. So that's things a bit uncomfortable. I had a really bright red eye earlier on, and I didn't want to be doing videos with a bright red eye. It just looked daft. So that's put me off for part of it. But it hasn't been a waste of time. I spent the last few days doing a few different videos, which I'm editing together as we talk. I don't know what you people think, if the ones who make videos. Some of you, I look at your videos in absolute awe. You know, it's quite surprising when you look through some of the people who have got as subscribers on the channel. If I look on the list and I find that you have several videos or several subscribers yourself, if you've got lots of subscribers, I tend to look at your channels and an awful lot of them are subscribed too. Partly, and it is a small part just out of a courtesy because you've subscribed to mine, but I'm more for the fact the ones that I subscribe to, I really do like to watch your videos. Some are a bit hamish, a bit like me, but some are incredible productions, and I'm totally envious of you because I know from doing what I do that they take a huge amount of time and effort and planning and all sorts of things, and I find the fancy productions very difficult to do, especially as a lone photographer. I don't have anybody else with me. And I know some people have production teams working on the videos. But there's some things I enjoy doing, there's some things I don't. I don't mind being in front of the camera. I know I humble and bumble and burble and things now and again, but that's my way. If I didn't do that, it wouldn't be me. But the ones I really dislike or doing is editing. I hate editing videos. However, it's one of those sort of things. You can't have the glory in everything you do, and the editing is my chore part of it, if you like. But at the same time, I do think that editing the videos together makes a lot of common sense, just to make sure that you get something which is presentable going out there, especially when I'm doing the Hadrian's Wall walks. And that's one of the videos I've been doing. I've been spending the last few days out and about with the camera. It's been beautiful sunshine in the UK. I'll come back to that in a second. But I've been out and about with the camera, so I did the next stage of my Hadrian's Wall walk, which started off at Sycamore Gap, the infamous place I couldn't get to last time. I'm not going to tell you if I reached it again this time or not to start from there, but that was the area I started from. And a really enjoyable day, out and about seeing some of the sites. I found some little hidden gems as well actually on that, which I'm really pleased about because I didn't know they were there until I started looking along the route. And one in particular I was really impressed with. So you'll see that in the video when it comes out. The other one, I saw a challenge from one of my subscribers, and a gentleman by the name of Graham, who's done a few videos himself. If you look down the channels that I subscribe to, you'll find Graham's amongst them. Really interesting guy, and really interesting viewpoint of photography. And he prompted me, so the next video that I put out in this sort of realm is actually down to you, sir, because it was about the lack of motivation and the lack of inspiration. So I decided I was going to challenge myself to do something. So I have a video which is coming up where literally I took 12 photos. The good old days of roll film. What prompted me on that? Used to get film in rolls before 35mm, or at the same time as 35mm, I should say. The old 120 film, depending on which size format your camera was doing, some of it you could be on 12 exposures on a roll. And I remember buying film and having only 12 exposures to shoot. And in those days it was a fixed lens, so I couldn't change the lens, and it was literally a case of being young. I sent them off to the chemist. It was even before I started developing myself. So I decided I was going to do 12 shots on my doorstep, a little bit of a challenge on that. So a dozen on the doorstep, and I challenged myself. I got one camera, one fixed focal length lens, went out with that, and but the only thing I've done on the photos post-production was literally to adjust if it needed it, and actually I didn't need it on any, to adjust the exposure, because that would have been about the only thing that was done by the chemist. We used to put them in the pharmacy to get that. They'd adjust it slightly on the prints for them to come back. So I did myself a little shot on that with the idea it had to be done inside 1 hour. So I had 1 hour to leave the house to go and get the photographs without taking the car as well. It had to be within walking distance to go out and get 12 photographs of something in the mid-evening and get back and see what I could do with it. Good little challenge. So I've got a video in the pipeline on that one. And the other one, which I've been shooting earlier on today, I went out to Lanercost and I've done some shooting of basically about manual shooting, because to take it back to the basics. And this video when it comes out, if you're a pro shooter, if you're an advanced shooter, it's probably not for you when it comes out. It's mainly to do for people who are new into the idea as to what constitutes manual photography. And without going into too much detail, we've all been here, especially the ones who are new ones, the ones coming from the mobile phones or who've only ever shot on DSLRs and mirrorless. There's a bit of a fear about clicking onto that manual mode. And there's a big thing made on videos about clicking onto manual mode. And I've never understood why it is such a big importance to people. Because all the modes can be used to produce fantastic photographs if you know what you're doing. And what the manual mode for me does is it just it puts everything in my hands to be able to do the shot. Now, again, with that, you can do some wonderful shots and you can do some atrocious shots. You can with all the modes. But I've got a video coming on to that, about 15 minutes, just to take people through the basics of manual mode photography. So I've had those. They're all in the pipeline, all at the editing phase. Don't hold your breath, as I said, the test editing, so it might take a little while, but they'll be coming out in the next few days. The other thing that I've done is I bought a car. I've managed to get myself a car at last. I actually had a car and my van, because I'm a musician as well, because I'm a singer and entertainer. My van is what I used to go around doing all my stuff in. And when I was doing photo shoots as well, the van was great for taking the photography gear, especially C-stands. C-stands can be the most ungainly things going, but they are so stable. I'll do a video actually on C-stands, because it's an interesting concept between C-stands and the cheaper lighting stands. And if you are going to be doing anything portrait wise, it's maybe worth looking at C-stands. They're not that expensive in comparison to what you can actually use them for. So I'll maybe get my C-stands out and show you a little video on them at some point. But they were ungainly and the van was great for getting them in. But the car that I had was a sporty two-seater and not really the best for taking equipment around. So I managed to get myself a wonderful Skoda Octavia, an 8-year-old Skoda Octavia estate, and I absolutely love it because it's massive inside. For the ones who are stateside, I don't know if you get Skodas or not, the Czechoslovakian built. They're part of the VW Audi group, and basically it's built on the same floor plan as the VW Golf, the Audi A3, the VW Beetle, I believe, was there. Actually the same floor plan as the TT. And the Seat Leon and a few other things like that. But it tends to be it's a big car, it's big for its class, and it's wonderful. It means I can get my C-stands into that and be able to do that for the photography without too much hassle. So I've managed to get that with a great deal of financial help from her indoors, which is thanks Sue. But that's a good little addition. So that's been on the cards for them. So it's been a busy 5 or 6 days overall. I also had a wonderful meeting with my friend Jerry, who's a local photographer to me here at Carlisle, and really, really nice guy, very much into his Olympus cameras. He's an ex-Nikon shooter, or Nikon for the Americans, for my American subscribers. Very much used to be into Nikon. Does a lot of wildlife photography, used to do a lot of wedding photography. Very, very accomplished photographer who's now using mainly Olympus, and very similar cameras to me. He's got an OMD EM1 Mark 1 and Mark 2, but a different selection of lenses. He's shot Panasonic Lumix cameras in the past as well, so we've got an awful lot in common. And he's going to loan me a couple of bits of equipment just to do some reviews on as well. So some of the equipment that I don't have, and don't have access to, he's going to loan me those. So thank you very much, Jerry, when it comes to that. Again, those videos are going to be coming up in the near future. But it's very difficult to make a video when you spend 2 or 3 hours talking to another photographer. You don't actually get the chance to make the video. So those are the things in the pipeline. Really interesting times for me on that one. I've been reading all the comments. Again, there's some fantastic comments. One of the things I have noticed, and how do I put this? The comments in the videos, there's 1 or 2 poor comments. You always get somebody criticising, and criticism's not a bad thing. I'm quite happy for that. You know, I'm open to comments on this video. I'm always open to comments because I enjoy hearing what you have to say as much as I enjoy making the videos, because I get inspiration from it. I also get different viewpoints. I don't claim to be the ultimate expert. I don't claim to be the great prophet of Micro Four Thirds. I have a certain viewpoint which I've built up on my experience and built up on the knowledge of research, but it doesn't mean to say that I'm 100% right. And some of the comments I get below really start me thinking and really start to make me consider alternate viewpoints to things, which is great. And very, very few bad comments on YouTube. I'm really impressed with that. But I did find that one of my videos had been featured on a website, and I read some of the comments on that, and they're quite caustic. And that actually put me off making a video for a couple of days. I'm human after all. You do tend to get a little bit sort of a little bit bothered when somebody's really having a go for the jugular, and you think, well, I don't even know you. Why are you doing that? And some of the comments were personally cutting, shall we say. And you know, this is life. This is the way that it goes. But it seemed to be from a younger element. And I know I do have some younger viewers on here, and I really appreciate that. I love more younger viewers. But the one thing you're not going to get me doing is sticking a baseball cap on the back of my head and shouting yo in between every sentence and trying to be hip. It's just not going to work. And the majority of my viewers are 40 plus in age according to the demographics. And let's face it, I'm no spring chicken myself. But it is interesting reading some of those comments from outside the YouTube community, because YouTube gets quite grilling at times, quite slagging off at times. And I've actually found that most of the people on YouTube have been incredibly supportive, really, really supportive. And when they do make comments, it usually has some bearing on it, some positive bearing. And some of the nicest comments I've actually had are people who are starting in photography, or who haven't got necessarily the technical background or the product knowledge of what's out there, who've made some interesting comments back, and some comments which have thanked me for pointing them in a different direction maybe, or a better direction, or giving them some ideas on their photography or the equipment they're going to be using. So those are the sort of ones. I actually got one just before I start reading this video. Before I start recording and reading this video. I don't read videos, it's a recording of the video. In fact, I can hardly read it all. Somebody who sent me a really nice comment on one of my earlier videos, as I read it just before this, and I was really touched by it, because they were thanking me for some of the direction that they'd been given in their photography. And that's really good, because if you can help just one person just a little bit, it really makes it worthwhile. So yes, bit of a catch up. As I say, lots in the pipeline coming, so I'm really pleased about that. I'm really looking forward to getting them up onto the channel for you. But I didn't want to leave it too long and you think, where's he gone? Maybe you wanted some peace and quiet. That's actually quite possible. You might have wanted some peace and quiet. Tough, I'm here. Actually, one of the people who was having a go at me on one of the sites said I was like Benny Hill, and I think they were meaning as an insult, but Benny Hill I thought was a fantastic comedian in his time, so I take it as a compliment. Thank you very much. So this is the Benny Hill lookalike. But yeah, seriously, thanks very much for all the comments and all the likes and all the sort of subscriptions on the channel. It really is good to see. As I say, if you want to subscribe, it costs you nothing. Hit the subscribe button below, and also give a thumbs up if you would. The thumbs up are really, really important, because it does make. Told you a big coughing. Now it really does make. I'll maybe think about chopping that bit out afterwards. Don't worry about it. If it's still in, it's because I'm too lazy to chop it out. The thumbs up really does have an effect, because it lets YouTube know that people are interested in watching the videos, and it puts it out on more people's homepage, as well as the ones who get it onto their subscription page. So the more people I can go and like, the more people I can hit subscribe, and the more people who can leave comments. The comments are really important as well, because again, YouTube uses them. But more importantly to me, is I get to read the comments, and I don't always agree with them, but I usually do read them. So hit the subscribe, notification bell, big thumbs up. If you want to leave a PayPal donation, thanks to all the ones who have left a PayPal donation. You've got no idea how important that is for me. Just going into car parks and things like that when I'm paying £8 or £9 UK to actually get parked to make some of these videos for you in some of the places. It really makes a difference, because it means that it's a difference between being able to make the videos and not being able to make them. So thank you so much for that. But until the next time, this is Brian James, that Micro Four Thirds guy, who is signing off and saying, don't forget, keep on taking your camera out, keep on taking your photos, and keep on enjoying your photography. Till the next time, see you next time. Bye-bye.